Hello and welcome to episode 43 of the Talking Wednesday podcast. I'm going to James from Dexterity Box now rather than saying I am Dexterity Box, even though it's going to slip in there. Jake, PugChef41, there are all the handles on there. Follow all our socials, all of that good stuff. And I hope this podcast finds you well as always. How has your week been, Jake? How's it been going, pal?
It's been long, but I'm a big stickler for the whole run-up bonfire night and Halloween kind of thing. It doesn't do me good. But it's been good. It's been nice to see people and see friends and family. And just slowly start things in here out, because there's some changes that are going to be happening in here soon in terms of background. If I can get the stuff I want to do. There may even be a neon light behind me. There may be two. So that'll be good.
Neon?
Yep.
Please get the right ones, because otherwise we're going to have camera issues up the wall.
I'm going to get the ones that don't flicker, don't worry. This is why I'm looking into it.
Thank you.
Because
Because you film everything at a specific frame rate. If you mess that up, we're in trouble.
Oh, we're screwed.
Yeah.
If that happens, I will literally get a message from Dex saying, turn that off, take it down now.
Yeah, because all you will see on the camera, all you'll see on the camera is the flicker.
Yeah.
To be honest,
and to be fair, I wouldn't be able to watch it or edit it, so it would be worth for me as well. So
yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, looking at doing things in here, had a bit of a move around in here without everything set up. But apart from that, it's been a good week. What about you?
It's been okay. It's been really busy. I haven't had time to breathe. I know we say that a lot, but a lot even. But I was quite annoyed this week. Right. Here's James's rant this week. So,
rant of the week.
Scalping in the collectors community or anything for anything. Everything bloody thing you want now, because people have been bored.
This, yeah.
Is people are just buying crap that they know people are going to want. And there's not a supply issue. It's just people buying them all and then charging double on eBay or triple on eBay. Right?
Yep.
It's annoying when it comes to... It annoyed me when it comes to, like, you know, my nerdy collectibles and stuff like that. It's even more annoying when it's someone I care about, and then it's like something like as simple as, like, you know, amiibo cards for like an Animal Crossing game, which are meant to be like £4, which then people are going out, and if kids want them, like nieces and nephews, if partners want them, if people want them, they have to then go on Amazon and spend like 18 quid.
My sister literally got one doing it that way, and I'm like, it irks me, because
we reserved some, because I was working on Saturday this week, so I was like, we'll reserve some Friday, we'll go pick them up Sunday. People, they left the reservations to the side on the desk, and while the back was turned, we found out they'd robbed our reservations.
No way.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, and they're sold out everywhere because people are selling them for like triple retail. They're not worth that.
So,
you know,
what are they? Are they just turn around and say, sorry, we'll let you know when they come back in stock, or is it?
Well, they said
like
if we come back in, we'll try and sort you out, sort of thing. But like, obviously, with reservations, you don't. It's annoying because it wasn't click and collect. They don't pay for them. But if it was click and collect, I'd have been very angry because we'd have paid for them and then they'd have been robbed. They're meant to go in the back though, but they hadn't. They'd gone to the side, and they'd got robbed. And it's just a case of like, we get a small amount of time and just. We're going to get a couple as gifts and things like that. And then Soph quite enjoys that side of things. So I was like, we'll get them and we can get them, you know. It was just stupid. It just made me realize how much is being scalped. The fact that that's been scalped. Because I thought it was just in sort of like my nerdy collectible sort of stuff. But everything at the minute
if you look at everything from, say, 2020 onwards, everything just went in high demand. Look at how many people were paying over the odds for recording equipment, cameras, because they're all working from home. So people were making big bucks. The pandemic let everyone just get a bit greedy. Let's be fair.
What I can't wait for in terms of the streaming equipment is next year on eBay when everything starts. Nobody needs this anymore. And they start selling it and need it gone.
That was brilliant when everybody went back to work, because I just trolled Facebook Marketplace and I got so many bargains. And like the green screen I use normally goes new, I think it's 150. I pay 50 quid for it.
Well, I remember when I bought my DSLR. I think I bought my DSLR just before lockdown. Yeah. But I wanted to run a proper Elgato setup with it. and I couldn't get one. There was like 3-week delay on the stock because people had been buying them out. Because when I needed an Elgato, it was lockdown.
Yeah, everybody
And
was like,
they were a nightmare to get. And this is just the normal capture card. It wasn't the cam link or anything like that because I wanted it for the game recording and the camera. But it's all gone a bit mental, and I thought that was going to be my rant of the week because people need to just stop being idiots.
Yep.
Or anything, because they're not going to. That's the thing. It's also people that, for example, let's take trading cards for example. They are only worth money in 20 or so years. If everybody didn't buy them 20 or so years ago, you're not going to buy them and flip them straight away. That's not a continual thing.
No.
But people have been buying into it in the past few months that is what's going to happen. So they've been buying stuff for retail and tripling the retail, and stupid idiots have been paying for it because they've only just come into the hobby, and it's just ruining stuff. And I think if you're a sports collector, stuff like that, I'm pretty sure that's happening in the same field. So
capitalism ruins everything. It takes the fun out of everything.
Sadly. Oh, careful, Jake. You'll have them coming around going, oh, you're just getting too political on that there podcast.
But I've had it in the past where we've looked at getting certain things. Like, there's literally all it is a plastic cover for my audio setup because this room sometimes gets quite dusty. I don't want it going in all my faders.
Is your name Shadipo Punk? You're getting a little bit left wing there.
That's very good. Well done.
Carry on.
That needs to get clipped out and put on the Twitter. But to get that, at the minute, it's not even out yet, and people are already getting it, and they're already selling something that's about, I think it's about 45 quid for a piece of plastic. It's already going for like 100 quid on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
And
have you seen that bloody razor light up mask?
Yes!
What is all that?
It's stupid, isn't it?
Am I an old man now? Yeah, I am. I'm drinking a cup of tea and a podcast. I'm an old man. But no, back in my day, we didn't do all of this.
It's just getting ready for Tea Review 2021.
Do you want to know what we did last night?
What?
Yeah, mine and Soph's like mad Sunday night.
Go on.
Right. We compiled a spreadsheet of all my Pokemon cards.
Makes sense. You need to know what you've got and what you haven't got, and then what to get.
I was watching something. Soph was spreadsheeting.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like mine and Sarah's relationship. We had the situation where I'll play a computer game and she'll sit and watch it because she enjoys watching me play computer games.
Yeah, I know, but laughing. It's just rich. It's rich that she was the one doing the spreadsheet, but it was like I think she just likes doing spreadsheets. That's what I'm going to tell myself anyway, because she had a lot more patience with it than I would have had with it. But I was just there going, oh, I forgot I had that. Oh, I forgot I had that. But it's nice. That's why I was doing it, because I want to know what I've got.
And then you had, I need that.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into the podcast, shall we? So yes, please leave us reviews. I know we had some people saying they've left us reviews. Podbean comments are great, and please do chat on that, because that's where we put the podcast out and stuff like that. But only certain sites have got review functions. You can leave comments, but reviews are the star systems and the actual reviews. They are on Apple Podcasts and Podchaser. So if you can leave us one on one of those two, they actually give us something in the podcast rankings. So when people search for our podcast, it goes higher up the rankings depending on our reviews and things like that. So that's why it's really important. If you haven't left us a review on one of those, it would help us out massively if you could.
The nice thing is people are starting to realise that the reviews are like the like button, and where it helps the algorithm, helps it gets so think of it like that, and it just helps us out and gets it to more people.
Yep, I'd like to give a massive shout out to Maple Leaf as well, giving us our first super thanks on the super thanks is another option where you can financially support us on YouTube. So it's like a super
when
chat. You stream, you super chat, but you can actually do it on videos now. So if you actually,
you can. Mine hasn't updated yet.
Yeah, that's true. However, you were sorted out as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. Very much appreciated it, and we're ever so appreciative of it all, really, with how
Yeah.
when that happened. Because at the end of the day, we don't do this kind of thing to make money. We do it because we love the hobby.
Well, also, there's one thing that I will say. If you do fancy ever joining memberships, please do it in the next couple of months because we are about to hit a year. And you know what a year means of a podcast? Yes, it means an anniversary, but it also means renewal fees.
Yes. Yes.
So that'll be fun with all the audio stuff and things like that. So
also means we're gonna have to do a podcast where in the same room.
Oh,
yeah, I know. Shall we just take it back to COVID times and just put a barrier?
Yeah. No, it'd be good that I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, we are looking at stuff for that down the line.
I mean, we've got to sort it soon, really, because we're going to be into Christmas, and I think we started. It's like early January, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'll be interesting. If you've got any ideas for that, please do drop us them in the Discord or send us an email, talkingwednesdaypodcast@gmail.com. Let's get into it with Captain Nat writing in and says, very important topic to start us off today. Are there any circumstances where socks and sandals are okay together?
Nope.
Nope. Not unless you are on some sort of list, I believe.
That's not going to go down well because Brad the other day put a picture up and he was wearing socks and sandals.
Did he?
Yeah. He was a fire marshal.
Why would you wear socks and sandals?
I don't get it. No, it's a no for me. It just looks weird. It doesn't. Right.
I might retract that actually because I do understand it. Like, if you don't want to get your feet out and if you just like putting the bins out, then yeah. But if you're full on doing it as a look, there needs to be a word there, really, doesn't there?
There's only one person on the internet who gets away with it, and he's a YouTuber anyway, and that's Line of Tech Tips, because he made it a joke.
That's really, really... Say that again. I like the way you put it.
What, Line of Tech Tips?
Yeah. It's a bit of a mouthful for you, that one, isn't it? Too many T's. I'll be honest, Captain, that I think I don't really care. You do you. If you want to socks and sandal it, he's not obviously writing and saying that he wears socks and sandals together. We should say I don't want to slander the man in such a way, but I don't wear socks and sandals. I don't own sandals. In fairness, we had the Croc debate last week.
To be fair, yeah, I don't own sandals. I own slippers, and that's about it.
I don't even think I have any slippers before. You see, my uni house used to have the stairs of death, right?
Oh, they're fun. Stairs of death. And I have a house with that. It's not great.
I haven't. It was one of them staircases that just goes straight down. So there's no like wall to bounce off. If you get, because my house here has got a staircase that goes down, then to a side, and then down. So if you fall down it, you hit a wall. So that's not as bad. But this one is just straight down because it was the uni house was straight down into the kitchen.
Yeah.
So
this house here it's stair going straight down, but the bloke we bought that house off, put a trap door at the bottom of the stairs to like a basement area, which it's not a basement, it's the crawl space under the house. But I fell through that on the first day we moved in. I'm like, that's not safe for me.
That is something I'd do as well. Well, it's one of those where like I wore slippers, back to slippers, and there were the slippers that were quite slippy, and I was at the second step, and the second step's always the worst to fall down off because you're gone. And the slipper just went.
Did you just go?
And I went, yeah, and it was like where you hit your back.
Oh,
like,
ouch, yeah.
And you're like lower back and everything, and I was at the bottom like,
that's a bit where you
that house was a death trap, right, man? I once fell out of the shower there because it was like, it was a shower bath,
Right,
so, and I can't remember how. I can't remember how it happened. Oh yeah, it was really slippy. It was like ridiculous. We had a bath mat in, but it was like ridiculously slippy for a shower bath. And I just remember moving to wash my hair or something.
And I just went.
I didn't just go down, mate. I went over the bath and hit my head on the sink. I went whoop, and the whole house just heard this almighty thud. And I was just there, like this. Obviously,
in pain.
The way God made me. Just like, I really hope nobody. I'm glad this door's locked. I mean, I could be dead, but somebody heard this bang, and then somebody actually came to the door. Actually, no, they didn't. That wasn't that time. That was another time. That time I could have died. But that time the shower was just there, and I was doing that reflection where I was down on the floor in quite a lot of pain, just looking at the water, going, "What is life?"
You know if that was me, and this is going to sound really bad, it'd be like, I hope that sink ain't broke. I need the deposit back.
You want to actually break the sink? It was more a case of breaking my skull, mate. I was genuinely like in utter pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how this got onto this after socks and sandals. Slippers and
Slippers.
Then it went to that house.
Yeah.
That's how a story can go. Thank you very much for writing in. As always there, Captain Nat. I will say I forgot to put the community tab out, so that was from last week. We've had to quickly get some Discord topics in this week.
I've just looked through the show notes, and we haven't got the Sunderland game in, so we need to talk about that.
Well, that's what we're going to do now. Yeah, right. I was going to say that without the show notes because I'm a professional like that. I was just going to roll straight in, Jake.
Oh,
Sheffield Wednesday podcast on Tuesday night. Dexterity watch. Sheffield Wednesday played Sunderland.
Yeah,
we were watching. We had quite a few people in. It was a good night. I was there to celebrate 3 Wednesday goals. I was back on a bit of the beer. It was a good night. We had fun. And Wednesday got a win. It was nice watching Wednesday and actually being like, okay, so our defense still isn't perfect, but we're winning and we won convincingly. Please talk me through it, Jake.
We looked really good. I was really shocked. And you know how this whole situation thing going forward, and we didn't play it out from the back that much, which was nice. When we did, it worked okay. And Marvin Johnson, I'll give him his due. He's looking like a very confident player now. He's mastered that role a little bit, and
he does still switch off a little bit for me.
He does, but it's improvement. So let's put it that way. Theo goal, cracking goal, bless him. I love in his interview. He's like, I had a celebration all lined up and I just couldn't do it because it was just the moment. First goal for him as well.
That's amazing. Honestly, I think the kid's going to be great for us. The one thing I am worried about is I've got to mention this at this point. He also, if that goal wasn't offside, he would have cost us one between him and Johnson. It wasn't Johnson's fault because Johnson had to track back. But Corbanu, you can tell that Moore's been talking about working on his game. He's got it. I understand why Moore's kept him out now because he needs to. If he's going to play him as a wing back, he's got to do his defensive duty. And you could see it wasn't second nature to him. He had to actively think about tracking back. And I kind of liked it because you saw a player developing and learning and thinking, oh, I've been told to go back. Don't be so selfish going forward. But when they had an offside goal through a deflection, we were quite lucky there. It was him being, because he was a bit further up, he got beaten down that side and he couldn't get back for it. So luckily we got away with it there, but we've got to be careful with Johnson on that left side of the 3 and then Corbanu there. That is a place where got to make sure if he's on there, we're tracking back and we're doing our defensive duty.
I will say something with the whole situation we've had this season with playing one up top. I really am starting to look from this game alone. Canberra and Lee Gregory, probably the partnership at the moment to break because they look really good. Canberra turning into that player who just works. You don't see what he's doing, if you know what I mean. What he does off the ball to do stuff. And he's holding it up well. He's linking up. Great goal as well, to be fair. And when you're looking at it, go, we never go 2-0 up just before half time. And we're all a bit like, this is weird. What's going on? Yeah, well, something will change. Something will change. And Lee Gregory to round it off was fantastic. And we stayed switched on for the full 90. Which was nice. I don't think we let them get into that game at all. I thought.
Do you remember a couple of podcasts ago when we were saying, "Oh, Che Dunkley, do we even want him to sign a new contract?" He listened. He's become an absolute baller at the back.
Well, he's just commanding that defense.
He's getting into his stride. He's getting his fitness back. Yeah. And he's getting his sharpness back. I'd say, and it's coming out on the pitch. It's good to see.
And we'll talk about it when we talk about play, but you could hear it on the Plymouth game, him commanding and shouting. But it's really good to see that there's that trust there, and first clean sheets in Bolton as well, which was much needed because we had been letting in a lot of goal. I was really worried about this game. I thought we were going to get absolutely battered. Sunderland are not in a good place at the minute, and now they're calling for their manager, some of their fans. It's so weird.
They were in my chat, weren't they?
Yeah.
Saying like, oh, I'm not convinced about him, that sort of thing. So they've, if you ever want a team that are like Wednesday, it's Sunderland at the minute, isn't they, in terms of the fan base dynamic and stuff like that. But
very good win. I was very impressed with how he played, and it's setting benchmark now.
I did say last podcast, if our defence is going to be this leaky and we're not going to have the confidence there, we have to outscore teams.
Yes.
So putting 3 past them, we'll do it. And then if they're not at the races and they don't score at all, that's even better.
I will say something. We were all watching that. We all got to the 80th minute. We all went, oh, God, here it goes. Even when we were 3-0 up.
Yeah, definitely. It was that. Because I was like, oh, if they get one now on the 80th minute, that means they've got like 9 minutes to get 2 more, and that would be a thing that
we looked all right on corners as well. Corners look a little bit better at minute at times.
They have started to look like they can find their way. That the arm up and the arms up can move. And I will say, as we're moving on now to the Plymouth game, Lee Dixon did say on commentary that he's putting no matter what his arm does, he seems to put the corner in the same place. I will say, yes, most of the season that has been the thing, but he was doing different posts with his arms and doing different positions, and he was actually putting it there. I thought that one of his the 2-arm one that when if somebody was on that back post, that's a goal.
There was a couple of times in that where he had deep corners, and if keeper didn't get to it, it was going in.
Yeah.
The Plymouth game was interesting to say the least. It wasn't a great game, let's be honest. It was dull.
Second half was quite nice.
Well,
we'll play some good stuff in the second half, I thought.
We didn't turn up again, did we? We did that whole Wednesday thing where we don't turn up for a half and then we get a rollicking and then we turn up.
I think we started it trying to find our way into the game. So you've got to remember, Plymouth last time we played them battered us.
Mm.
Yeah, so we found our footing in that game, and then we grew in confidence because it was like, well, we don't... Do you know what? Let's just attack them this half, because if we concede, and we also don't have to do and replay, and if we score a goal, we don't have to do a replay. So that was the goal, I think.
Yeah, I was willing that Bannon long-range hit to go in, though. Just the way he hit it was just like, nah, that's not going. I think the disappointing thing, because you're seeing it and you're looking at it, it's like, you wish it was more of the fans in the ground. Because it looked empty. Let's be honest. And
you say that though, mate. We weren't there.
No,
we contributed to that on Sunday. In fairness, hold our hands up fully. Like I looked at it and I went, I'm having the day, because 12:15 kickoff time, cold, Plymouth, cup, this stage. I gave it a miss and it's on TV. That was the big thing. And I will say, I decided to stay inside and have some lunch and watch it. And
it makes sense, but I kind of understand why people didn't go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you're on the TV and you see that, and it just we'll get to it later on. I think if you're going to use it as a community topic about the stadium, it's looking old.
I love it.
I love it, but it could do a lick of paint. But to be fair, 0-0 was the right result. I thought there was talking about Corbinu. There was a situation in that game where Dunkley gave him a right rollicking because he went to play it back and Dunkley's there screaming at him, shouting, and he'd not heard him. He just spins round and Dunkley looked like he was going to smack him.
Yeah, well, we said that thing. There was a bit of a bust up between them before, wasn't there? I think Dunkley probably does like to give him a hard time, You're at this level now, sort it out.
What's your thoughts on Berahino? Because I'm starting to think it might have been a waste of the transfer. I don't know if anyone else is feeling that way. He was better in the second half. Don't get me wrong. He did a lot more pressing and he had a shot, but I don't know.
I think a waste of a transfer is a bit harsh. I think
he's just not hit the ground running yet.
I think we suit a Gregory. If you're going to have Berahino, you play him centrally and you believe in him and you back him. He's that type of confidence player and you play to his strengths. Where our team sort of plays more to Gregory's style of strength. And you saw when Gregory came on, it was leaps and bounds.
Yeah. And I thought Canberra again had a very good game again.
Yeah.
He's looking really solid.
He's quite understated. The way he can hold up a ball and he moves well. I didn't realise how well he moved.
Yeah.
But he does. Yeah, and I think we're seeing it more now. The way his movement on the ball is very good.
He makes that space for someone to get to, and his hold-up play is just superb. He was very unlucky with how many fouls went against him, because some of them weren't. Also, on talking about that, because I just remembered, it was interesting in the Sunderland game having Westwood on commentary and some of the things he said. Because Westwood did the commentary on the Sunday game, didn't he?
Go on then.
He was basically turning around about saying how things were a bit different, where the managers would come in. He said about Atty was always too honest as a player when he went down. There were times where you met more of it, but he wouldn't do it. And it was interesting having an insight of a fairly recent ex-pro who's had a lot of criticism due to whatever reasons and said stuff. The interesting thing, he's still got that passion to be out on there.
He still loves the club as well.
You can hear him. He go on, get to it. It's like he's trying to goalkeep for Bailey, and he still loves the club. And it's the part of me wonders,
I miss him.
What if we put another contract in front of him at the end of the season? But I understand why we had to move on. But
we've still got a loan in. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
That's what gets me. We've got a loan in, and the loan, I will say, we've got to say the Plymouth game, great save where he nearly chipped it. Fantastic reactionary save. Hopefully that's Peacock Farrell coming back into it. But early in the game, he nearly cost us with, playing out from the back, that sort of thing. So we need to make sure that we've got a future plan for a goalkeeper. A loan is temporary, right?
Yep.
So would giving Westwood another year for me. And I was like, and I know there's probably more involved in that. West was on a lot more. Burnley are probably going to pay quite a lot of.
Yeah.
That's all that factors into it, right? And it was time for a change. But I don't know. I've got a real affinity for Westwood.
I thought wing clearance was very good as well. That had the wherewithal to that, because the only thing that I got annoyed by was when they mentioned the records. So Sheffield Wednesday's not gone out of the cup for 100 years in the first round. It's like, please don't say things like that. That's not what we like to hear. That's the kind of thing we see that and go, right, we've got a challenge.
Do you know what? I forgot when we're talking about potential managers. I forgot completely about Ian Holloway.
Yeah.
He's somebody that I've always thought would
I've always wanted to see him in as the...
He really likes Wednesday as well,
Yeah. You hear him on a lot of shows. He's always waxing lyrical about us. And I think
if Darren Moore didn't work out, I'd be all right with Holloway for a little while, to be honest.
It was a draw, but we've got to go do, I think it's November 16th now, Tuesday, game at their place. So it's not what we want, but to be fair, it was nice to see us look a little bit better. We are starting to look that tiny bit better, and you're seeing those improvements now.
We've got a first team.
Yeah.
This is a big thing that I want to say for it. We've got a first team, and we brought 3 of them off the bench, right? Hunt, for me, potentially, actually, yes, he's more of an attacking thing, but he isn't our first team for me. No. But when Fizz and Gregory came on...
Fizz was superb.
They just came on, and it was like the attack was transformed.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you can see this now. We're saving our first team for here, because when the first team subbed on, we were firing. If Winger had put that in at the end, we don't have the replay. We don't have to go down to Devon. However, I will say, equally, we'd have lost that if Wing hadn't cleared it off the line.
Yeah.
So you can't give Wing too much stick. They did say on ITV commentary, interestingly, that it's expected that Wing will sign a contract with Wednesday. Did you notice that?
I did notice that, but does that now change with their whole situation at the club?
What, with Wilder?
Yeah, because Wilder's in. Because Wilder might like what he saw. The thing is, one of the interesting things that they actually spoke about on commentary as well was it was the first time I've seen somebody say EFL transfer embargo with Wednesday. Because they did mention it.
You see, they said a lot of interesting stuff on ITV, and some of it I was like, that's not factually accurate. And I can't remember what it was, but they said this is really great podcasting, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll try and remember it at some point, but they said something in commentary that was blatantly wrong, and it annoyed me.
Well, they got Carlton Palmer and Palmer's shirt numbers wrong.
They also, yeah, They also started. That was one. I think it was that actually one of the things.
Yeah.
It was around that time, and they also kept calling Corbanu Corbanu
Yeah.
or Corbanu.
I tweeted you.
I put a tweet mashing Corbanu with a barn on the Talking Wednesday Twitter at Talking When Go follow it. It did not get enough love.
Yep.
Just saying. Just saying.
To be fair, the one thing that came out of that as well was how good Palmer looked going forward.
He's such a good player. Yeah.
He really did. The thing is, they didn't stop to stop him. Like normally, if a player keeps doing that, you'll try and stop him and make sure.
Mm-hmm.
They just let him run. It was really weird. But
Yeah.
all in all, we got to play him again. It's not what we wanted, but we're still in the round. I think we're number 4 tonight. Recording this Monday, so we'll find out who we got at the end.
Yeah, obviously you'll know by the time this podcast's out. But Darren Moore, after the match, was saying, with us being the home team, our initiative was to take the game to them. In the final third, it just seemed to peter out. He said, well, I'm happy that we didn't lose the game. It's a clean sheet, and that builds that mentality. It was the final third where we could have been more clinical. He summed it up well, in fairness. Yeah. I think also after the match that there was a bit of defense of him, saying Darren Moore's got to say the same thing because when it was going. Was it Waddle that was saying this about?
Yeah,
Darren Moore was saying the same thing in all his interviews when we were getting individual mistakes costing us points and stuff like that, because that was the truth. That is what was happening. He couldn't really say anything else in there, and I did see that side of it. But for me, it was more of a case of he needed to be a bit harsher, but he's not going to do that. He's not going to turn the players away. But I did see what he was saying there. Ryan Lowe did say something interesting that we've not put in the document. He did say, you play for the owner, don't you?
Yeah.
So he's not, if you wanted further truth of he's not coming anywhere near Wednesday.
That one.
Yeah.
Also, he was disappointed by the crowd as well. He even said that he wasn't happy with how many were there. He was hoping a bit more of a turn up. You'll get that when you play us in the league.
Yeah. It was 12:15 on a Sunday.
I still don't get why...
On national television.
I still don't get why they got picked to the TV game.
I do though, because it's still Wednesday, isn't it? It's still that. You can do the historic club sort of angle on it, and it was nice. I love seeing it on terrestrial TV. It doesn't happen often enough.
No.
I mean, not a lot of people get on terrestrial, do they?
No.
We'll do a round. Let's actually, right. Tell me which match is better than ours that on that roundup on Sunday, right? That should be on TV over Wednesday Plymouth. Tell me what you'd pick over Wednesday Plymouth. Oxford Bristol 2-2, Bolton Stockport 2-2, Rochdale Notts County 1-1, Stratford Shrewsbury 5-1 to Shrewsbury, St Albans City Forest Green 3-2. Which one of them is bigger than Wednesday Plymouth?
Okay, good point.
That's why they picked it. No shade to any of those. They're obviously historic clubs, Bolton, Notts County, that sort of thing. But you would say that Wednesday Plymouth was the biggest match there.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I like to see underdogs when it comes to the FA Cup on the TV. But then again, there wasn't many underdog versus like a bigger team, so makes sense.
Carlton Palmer was talking about Wednesday playing out from the back, going to get us into trouble. They started talking about on commentary about how, because I think we were just coming back. We'd missed the first 10 minutes of the match because we went to quickly go and do some shopping because adults. And Carlton Palmer was talking about playing out from the back and how it's getting teams into trouble. And I think Staten was saying he's seen it more and more and more, and it sort of leads to teams at least once a match giving away opportunities for a goal just from trying to play out of the back in League One. And I do think there is a bit of that. It feels like to have a system now, so many people, even at League One level, League Two level, are trying that 3 at the back system and playing it out and trying to be technical on the ball. League One used to be just get stuck in, but there's not much of that anymore. I think even since Wilder was sort of like a decent sort of sign of you can get out of this league playing that sort of football, and more coaches are adopting it now.
The nice thing is, though, with what's going on is you've seen Darren Moore use it a little bit, but recently, the last 2 games, he has gone for that kick it long, let's hold it up a little bit and see what happens kind of thing. Yeah. And when we are playing it out from the back, we are looking a little bit better with it. I think Dunkley's a lot better with it than Iorfa is at doing it, because he sees it, he understands it and gets it gone. I think Palmer's starting to understand it a lot more now. And like we said, Johnson's, there's still little bits of mistakes in him, and there's still times where you're seeing where you're like, don't turn your back, go, stay with him. But he's starting to go into that role, and the bit where it's starting to look like it's working, it's starting to look like it's clicking. And a lot of the things people get sick of that gelling, clicking, you're seeing it a little bit now. Now we've just got to push on and build that forward.
Well, after that, talking about building forward and that, Chris Waddle was talking about it. Obviously, Waddle's had a lot to say on Wednesday. It was interesting to see him commentate on a Wednesday game. I think the ITV link was there because I don't think we'd bring him in-house with some of the stuff he said against our owner.
I can't see him being welcomed.
I can see him being welcomed by the fans, but I can't see him being on that.
To be fair to him, he did criticise Chansiri.
You what, sorry?
He did criticise Chansiri while he was on air.
I didn't notice that, did he? What did he say?
Yeah, before the game, he was saying it's all about ownership. And you see here, the owners have not done well here. That's why they're in the position they're in at the minute.
Couldn't resist, could he?
Nope.
Couldn't resist. But he did say something that I do want to talk about there. The ownership thing, we've talked about that plenty of times. I'm still saying, like, for me at the minute, Chansiri's doing all right. I know it's been bad in the past, but in terms of mistakes, but you got to move forward. We've got to move forward as a club now. So let's just try and take it a day at a time at the minute, shall we? The old at the end of the day, the old football cliche. Right. What I was saying, looking at if it was Darren Moore, we are well organised, we are quite solid. He was talking about how Bailey Peacock-Farrell was good, which even though he's had some mistakes in him, he was saying the midfield. I remember him saying the midfield were decent. But the big thing was he was saying we're lacking a number 10.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I don't see anyone that plays that role well.
That strike partner. Somebody who comes off, lets the centre forward stay up the pitch. Get the goals.
What you could say we had that a little bit last season with Windass and Patterson in that role. I don't know if you put Windass in that role when he comes back.
We've had that in our Discord as well. Worko wrote it and said Windass would be a good number 10.
Yeah,
when he comes back.
We've not really had a proper number 10 really since Fez, in Fortieri. That kind of sit him in there. And it's another one of these things where we've not managed to replace someone who we really should have done. But very hard to replace a player like Fortieri. A number 10 would help. I think you could possibly put Fizz into that role. If you get his shooting up, he got that ability to run on and go for it.
Did you even put Canberry there, or am I being a bit too ambitious with that?
Possibly, yeah. You could possibly do that there.
Because of how good he is on the ball.
He does that hold up well, so it could work. I think, to be fair, there were times in that game where Fizz was turning into that number 10 when he was coming forward and just hitting into that pocket of space. It's something I'd like us to do and bring someone else, unless there's someone behind the scenes. I think that's why you got the likes of Alex Hunt that's gone on loan. He's maybe our future number 10 because that's the play that way playing at Grimsby. And I wonder if he's got that in mind for further on. I don't see who you put there right now, and that's the issue.
Yeah, Hunt could be a good shout if he...
Byers, maybe? Pushing a bit further forward?
We've got to see more of these players, haven't we, to say it for definite, but...
He does have a point. There isn't that kind of person there. I'd like to see... What I would like to see, Gregory Canberry possibly play like a Sido there.
I mean, some people might be screaming Barry Bannon, but not at this stage for me.
Nah. He's better sitting back. And it was interesting, Waddle saying how everything flowed through and that needs to stop. We need to find different people for it to go through.
Yeah.
And we've been saying that for, a couple of weeks?
Yeah, we have. We've said that Bannon should be in the side, but we should have alternatives to take some of the pressure off him.
I'm still saying it.
I've noticed that though against Plymouth. I know we didn't, but against Sunderland, it didn't all go through Bannon.
No, it didn't.
Bannon was sort of the person that was sitting the furthest back, and if we'd run out our options, you'd give it to the creative player in Bannon, and he would then try and reshift it and get it going forward again. I liked that, right?
It was good.
because that's how we should play. Give it to the creative players. Give it to Corbanu. Give it to Canberra. Give it to these young, hungry players that want to do it. And then if we're out of ideas and we need to pass backwards, give it to Bannon.
It's like it clicking with them that we can actually go on and have a little run. Like, Adam Aaron's very good at doing that. When Bannon's sitting back, Adam Aaron will just take it off and go with it. He nearly had another great chance in that Plymouth game.
Yeah.
Fizz does the same thing. It's interesting. We can get those two players, because they're two players who are obviously looking like they're going to be in Wednesday's future, starting to be that link up. It could be really good. And we've mentioned about Adam Aaron and possibly Fizz being the main midfield partnership.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that one plays out, but good things from this week. Hopefully it continues. We'll have to see. Can we go on a run? We will have to see. So we're going into a story about not really a big thing, but two of our former managers recently, Steve Bruce and Tony Pulis, have been talking about the abuse online. You know, they've been talking about how some criticism by the pundits have gone too far. I know this was a Steve Bruce thing, but I think Tony Pulis has recently added on to it. It's kind of interesting that it's two of our former managers. He was speaking to the sports desk at the BBC, and Pulis said that media as well as social media created a monster. You know, the criticism was going too far. Criticism by some pundits and fans had gone too far. You know, and his message came in the wake of Santo getting sacked by Spurs and getting a lot of grief during all of that. And he was saying that, I don't know if he was saying this, but it was quoted in the article about every team seems to get booed at the minute. Every manager seems to get booed if they're not performing, even in the short term, you know. And obviously that goes on the back of Steve Bruce talking about the abuse he'd received before. He was quoted as saying, "I do think the way that we're going, I think there's got to be a red light somewhere. Someone's got to say, stop, that's enough. We're getting very close to that point. That's professional criticism. That professional criticism I think you have to accept, never mind how hard it is or tough it is. The phone-ins after games. Some people haven't even been to the games and get on the radio and they abuse managers. The world's changing. There's no middle ground anymore." I will say, if you've not, there is a very, end quote by the way, there's a very clear line of the people that don't watch the football and just moan about the same thing all the time. Yep. Or the people that go quiet when the manager's doing well and then they sort of sit and wait to moan when it moans. We've
seen it on the podcast. We've seen it in our own conversations and our own thing. And it's interesting saying this, and I understand what they're saying, but there's also lots of other things that shouldn't be in the game, and they don't seem to do much and put too much on to doing it and fixing it. I think
racism.
Yeah, my kind of thing. Sexism, racism. There's a lot of stuff that should be a lot higher than a manager getting pelted because he had a bad game. I understand that it goes into the abuse.
Let's just blanket statement this. All of this needs to be fixed.
Yes, right. It does. That's it.
Start with the big issues, such as, and it ties into this, right? Such as the fact that you have still got abhorrent racists in certain parts of the country that FIFA are not doing enough about, UEFA are not doing enough about. I don't care about, you say, cultural differences, things like that. Oh, it's worse. That's just the way they are. It needs to be out of the game. It needs to be out of society, but it needs to be out of the game, right? Then you do the trickle down of sorting this out. Yes, managers shouldn't be having social media abuse. We need to look at a way to regulate that. But when it's all about money, that's where it comes into it. If companies are going to lose money by regulating these things, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Right? So there either needs to be a stance from it. But if you also get government involved, most of them can't be trustworthy, then they can be kicked. And nobody's going to trust that. Half of them will trust them, half of them won't. That's usually the way the split goes. That's how votes work. Do you know what I mean? So there is no fixable solution here other than there needs to be more accountability for what you do and more. Then again, if you say more traceability, not everybody's going to be comfortable.
You're going to go on the other side where people are not going to like that anyone can look up anything.
Because it's so hard. It's never going to be fully secure in terms of
an age of social media where, and I think this is the thing, we are seeing prime examples social media showing it's good and it's bad. Going back even about 10 years ago, it probably wasn't as bad because not a lot of people were clicked onto the Twitters and everything, but everyone got a smartphone, everyone got a little computer in the pocket so they can have that say, send it, no consequences. And yeah, we're a fan channel and we have our say, but we're never over the top. There are some sections of fan bases that have it where it is over the top. And yeah, we have the stuff that we said about Bruce in the past, but we've never gone anything about his family. We've never said anything about. We just said it was a really crappy way of him leaving.
Yeah, I used to be quite obviously. I still do quite a lot of reactionary stuff. I used to be a little bit harsher. I used to make a few more jokes. When it's on long form stuff like podcast, if I'm not creating a piece that's meant to intentionally have those sort of jokes in, I don't necessarily mean them either, by the way. It's just there for comedic effect. You know, that's what comedy is meant to be when you're doing those sort of videos. But even it's time, even over the past couple of years, I don't really have that as much now. I'll still do it. I'll still put a bit of a comedic video together and start taking the mick a little bit. But if it ever goes past the line of it, I've seen it in my everyday life though. Do you know, people I've spoke to a few people from this podcast, from the industry, from the music industry, and for examples in the different aspects of work I do. Someone will say something to me online that they would never say to my face, and in my face we'd have a perfectly decent conversation. And that is the problem that you face with all of this, because I've not got it in me to be like that, and I've never fully understood people that have.
No,
right?
I am,
because I've always thought, like, why does it give you so much satisfaction just to pull someone else down? Like, I don't make myself feel better by making somebody else feel worse. I've never sat like that, and I've never understood it. And I just think it comes down to a matter of decency and having that decency about you. And this is just an epitome of the fact that a lot of society, and a loud part of society, for example, hasn't got that decency. And a big problem with it as well is younger kids going on these platforms and saying stuff, because you all say stupid stuff when you're 13 and 14. There needs to be more of a regulation of those like teenagers going on and just having no consequences, because they're the ones that say the really abhorrent stuff as well.
Look at players who are now professionals who back in the day, and then a tweet gets dug out from 10 years ago. It's like, I was a kid. It's like, I think there was a Swansea player who got basically abused, and he found out, and he literally went, oh my God, he's 12. And that kind of situation, I'll be honest though, depending on where you grow up, and this is not acceptable, there needs to be more education in those situations. Because where I grew up, it was like you could make some of those jokes. Some of the jokes, like from even groups I knew at school, made the odd race joke or something like that. And because everybody was sort of like in on it, even the people of those races in that thing, it's sort of like acceptable. But if you on a wider context, and to be honest, in general context, looking back on it, none of that is acceptable. No.
Do you know? But that's why that is dangerous in itself, because it's something in a vacuum.
And also, if we're going to go on the whole with him saying sacking stuff, let's be fair. Nuno, he wasn't their first choice. They got their second or third choice, and then they went back to the first choice. So if you actually just gave Conte what he wanted straight away, you won't be in this situation.
Well, there's rumours he was about their 7th choice, mate.
Well, yeah. But you know what I mean? If you're not first choice, why would you? It's like when people have had it before where we've looked at certain managers and they've gone, well, it's not your first choice. Why would you want to reapply?
I just think we all know this now. We all know the situation. I've had those times where it's got so bad, like people, that I've just been like, I just wish social media would just all get deleted. We don't need any of it, you know. And it can get that bad sometimes in your head, but you don't. I think you really have to detach yourself from it, you know.
Yeah.
And I can imagine on a global scale of that, it's very difficult, because we always see as well. You don't think people see it. The people that say the abuse don't think the people actually see it, and they will find the stuff if they ever have it come across them. And they don't. I just stop being arses to people is what I'm going to finish this on, right? Yep. I think Steve Bruce and Tony Pulis are not very likable people in my football circle, right? Because of my football experiences. Yeah. But I wouldn't abuse them like that. I'd make jokes about them. I make the odd joke, you know, and I put a video together being quite jokey about him, probably being a little bit mean, but I put my face to it. Yep. I put my mannerisms to it. I made it a comedic piece, but I would also be very respectful if I ever met those people, and I would call what the content I created for what it is, and I'm sure you do the same. Yeah. And I would never I would never cross that line. I mean, I probably in some, you know.
One of the reasons I did videos for the channel is, well, I got sick and tired of it just being a keyboard. behind the thing. I feel like if I'm going to actually put something out there and it's something I think is right, I want my face and voice out there.
Yeah. Too many people don't want to do that though, man.
Yep.
And I know a lot of our audience have footballers as their icons. Why do we do this?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to do it on the forums.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this
that
way.
Made sense, but
be better. That's all we're asking.
Yeah. Let's just be better to each other.
Yeah.
And we haven't had one of them for a while, have we?
Nope.
So, moving on to good news for Fizz. He's got Player of the Month from Wednesday, from other fans. Yep. Obviously, people say it was interesting seeing the comments again. People saying he was tailing off a little bit those last couple of matches, but he was superb earlier on. I could see parts of that. But yeah, well done, Fizz, on getting the Owls Player of the Month for October. Bailey Peacock-Farrell has been called up to Northern Ireland ahead of their final two World Cup qualifying games in November. They play Lithuania on Friday the 12th of November, and they will face Italy on Monday the 15th of November.
I think he's already gone. So
no, he went last. He went the night of the Plymouth game.
It'll be Joe in net tomorrow.
Yeah,
or maybe
Joe will be in net, and he will be in net on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
So, time to stake a claim again. Peacock-Farrell did very well before he left, but Wildsmith, if you can come in and keep that performance going, I can see you earning the shirt for. I like that. We've got competition going on
one with Wildsmith. He posted recently that he's going to be a dad for the first time. So congratulations to him and his partner.
Congratulations, indeed. Right. Community topics. Thank you for getting these in on Discord at very last minute. I was like, I've got 10 minutes before we start.
To be fair,
that's
put a little bit on me because I normally put it in a little bit earlier to say we need some topics in, and then it's been a week.
I know. It's still my job to post it though, innit? I didn't do that, so it's all good. Hubert Hubdub writes into the Discord and says, which current Wednesday player has the best trim/haircut/hairstyle?
I'm not going with Hut because I don't like that blonde.
It's difficult, this one.
Yeah. I kind of like Windathers.
I must say there's some dodgy trims amongst them, isn't there?
I like Windathers. I think that's quite a classic look.
I'm going to go for Corbanu because he reminds me of when I had my quiff. Yeah, you know, yeah. Can you see that? I could see that. Like, so I'm going to go for Corbanu. Sorry, ITV. Nice trim, man. Workout writes in and goes, is Hillsborough Stadium looking tired compared to others? Will it need a revamp soon? Yes, it's needed a revamp for quite some time. It does look tired.
The problem is Chansiri won't put any money stadium-wise in it looking nice until we're further up.
Do you remember Presto not being on that stand? Because I don't.
No. I actually thought that got fixed, but obviously it didn't. It's still there.
I don't remember
my entire Wednesday
brain.
Watching Wednesday, that's always been there.
Mm-hmm. I kind of don't want it to go because of that.
The thing is, we've done bits and pieces where we updated it. Like someone who I know took a picture of the Wednesday badge, and I was like, and I looked at it, oh wow, that looks bad. They painted it. Said no, I edited it. So, oh, that actually looks a lot better with your edit. Can you send it them and say just get some paint up to make it? It needs a refresh, and it needs one for a while. The problem is, it looks like we've
got different shades of blue now.
Yeah.
Because the fade and where it's all going, there's no real clear Wednesday blue there, is there?
No. I'll send it you after the podcast. There's a video somebody sent me of what Wednesday Stadium could look like futurized if they did it. The thing is,
it's the World Cup. It was the Euros plans or the World Cup or one of those.
No, this is a different one as well that someone mocked up. But if that happened, we'd be fine because it would be looking pretty tidy. I think we invested a lot of money on the pitch itself because the pitch needed doing. Let's remember those days when we had the Wigan game postponed due to flooding. The problem is it's one of those grounds that's very hard to update in terms of where it is. You can't expand it unless you go up, and even if you go up, you're going to have issues. Yeah,
we've always said that like you'd have to knock a road out. You'd have to move a road and do some sort of cut through or something if you were going to expand it. And it'd be a nightmare. It would be a nightmare.
I'd like to see us have This is the bit where we always talk about long-term planning with Chansiri. Show us what your long-term plan is for Middlewood and Hillsborough, because
in my honest opinion, though, man, now I thought this would be different. I thought we probably need to go to something that could hold a steady 45 if we'd have gone to the Premier League. But now I'd even say just get it to a solid 35 to 37. Get every aspect of that ground in good condition.
Yeah.
Cover sections that need covering, make sure everything's revamped, and get the seats sorted, and you can have a stadium that's going to hold more than our capacity for a little while at least.
What would you want to do first, though? Would you want stadium to be done first or a new training facility?
Considering we have quite a bit of injuries, the training facility.
Because also, when you see Middlewood, it looks old. It don't look great, does it?
It don't look the best from what I've seen on pictures and stuff like that. It reminds me of, football training camps from when I was younger. It needs everything needs sort of a bit of a rework. Yeah, but we haven't got money, so low priorities at the minute. If I'm honest, if we get to the Prem, that can be a nice problem to have.
Well, if we get to the Prem, I can see that being something he says, right, I've got money now, here you go, I'll use the TV money this season to get it all sorted. Look at what Burnley did. Burnley were a classic example. They went up, stayed for one season, and then went down again, but they used all the money that they had and built a state-of-the-art training facility, and then went back up, and they've been there ever since.
Yeah, for now at least.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on to Wednesday's next matches. Thank you for writing in for us at the last minute, guys. Appreciate that. The next match is in the Pizza Cup, and it is against Gillingham, who are currently 7th in League 2.
No, it's not. Not in the Pizza Cup, it's Harrogate.
No, it's Harrogate. Gillingham's the league. Sorry, they are in League 2 because Gillingham are in League 1. It's because I've got a Gillingham badge right in front of my face.
No worries.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter about their form in the league as so to speak, because it's a cup game and you can't really compare the league. They have scored 27 goals this season, conceded 20. Their last match was a win against Wrexham. We'll have to see how we get on in the Pizza Cup.
I think the manager's also a Wednesdayite.
I think he is, indeed. It would be good to see. I'd like to see us get 3 wins in that group. That would be good.
If we can get the three wins, and we're obviously looking like we're going to go through, it would be nice. But also, let's just remember, we played Mansfield and we thought that was going to be easy, and we only got that last minute to win it. So it'll be interesting to see what he picked for this team, considering how we play.
He'll know Wednesday as well. So gotta make sure. I think it's going to be quite heavily rotated though. This one,
yeah. This
one won't be. This is a must-win for me because this is Gillingham on Saturday. They have 16 points. They've got a point per game, pretty much, is their thing. They're 19th in League 1. If Wednesday are going to have some ambition here this season, we need to be beating Gillingham. Yeah. Because that's just where we've got to set it at the minute. Because they are obviously 19th. Their last match was a draw with Cheltenham. They have 9 points at home and 7 points away.
Yeah. It was a game where we desperately need to start using the consistency now and not going against the big team, because we do have a little bit of a situation where we'll play a big team and we'll turn up, we'll play well, but then we get to this game and we don't look like we're up for it.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Like the lad who's their striker is a Sheffield lad. We had him in our books. He was in our youth academy, Vladen Oliver. And he's doing really well and he's looking good. So it'll be good for him to come back and stuff, but I just hope he doesn't. Well, we're away, aren't we? But it'll be good to see what happens and how we do. But these are the games we need to start winning. You look at the games we've got coming up soon. They're the games that we need to start picking points up.
We're not away.
Are we not away? I thought we were away. It's Atkins and Stanley we're away, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why. But these are the games we need to start winning.
Yeah, I might stream. Maybe not. I might stream the replay because they put it on a Tuesday night, aren't they?
Yeah.
The replay against Plymouth, and then there's the Saturday. Oh, there's a lot of football coming at you thick and fast, guys.
Yeah,
we've got Harrogate Here we got Tuesday, Saturday, and then Saturday, but that's Christmas.
I really,
And Boxing Day.
really hope we've got some players back for this coming soon because we have got a skeleton squad at the minute as well.
Got a run of games coming up as well. If we're gonna do it in this league, this run, Gillingham, Accrington,
This is where it's
Stanley,
gonna come.
MK Dons, they're three that we should be getting the points at. If we're gonna go for
MK
the
Dons
run.
is going to be a tough one because they are quality at this season.
And then after that, we've got Wickham, so that's going to be tough as well.
Yeah.
So we've got to turn it on for November and see how we get on.
We are starting to look better. We're starting to see what we can do. If we can now see that a lot more. That Sunderland game has now got to be the bit where they say, this is where our level is, and this is where we've got to be.
Yeah. Do not let us down against Gillingham when you've just beat Sunderland 3-0. That's the basics. But that is it for me, from me even, for this episode of the Talking Wednesday
what's
podcast.
happening?
What about yourself, my friend? Anything to add?
Just take care of yourself. It's getting darker and wrap up warm.
Yes, and Jake will say it's getting darker every week as it continues to get darker, I'm sure.
Yeah, I will.
I don't like the going to work in the dark and coming back in the dark thing. That sucks.
Yeah,
I used to hate
nice.
it. I used to hate it worse when I just graduated and I was working in hospitality and you were doing that. That was the worst.
I used to hate it that I would start a kitchen shift at like 4 a.m. to go get prepped ready for breakfast and be like, right, I'll go to 6 o'clock when I feel like, where'd the sunshine gone?
Well, no, that's even worse than mine because I used to do reception work and I was our early was be on desk for 6:45, which meant I had to get up at like just before 6 and trying to put contact lenses in before 6 o'clock in the morning is just the most horrific thing.
Yeah.
Ever. And then you go. I worked there in winter as well. I worked there because I just finished. I just finished uni, and I wanted money, as every person that comes out of uni does. And because I worked a bit student accommodation at uni, I decided to go straight into the actual like accommodation because it was easy enough for me to get a job because I got that experience.
Winter was always funny in the kitchen because everybody will be looking for that evening shift because they could have a bit of a day in the.
I did shifts from October to February there before I was like, nah, I've had enough of this. But it was just a case of getting really cold. Now I still have to get up quite cold and do a lot of work in the cold and the dark. But it's the extra hour or so, hour and a half in bed is much appreciated nowadays. But then again, I'm getting older and I'm getting tireder. I don't do that thing. I've needed more sleep as I've got older. I've not got less.
Well, I told you about this week, like, apart from, like, streaming Wednesday and the game Tuesday, I've been falling asleep at, like, 7. That's the time my little girl goes to bed. I'm like, what's going on? I want to do things. No, you're going for a nap.
Yeah, and that's...
Old age, it sucks.
And we're not even old.
No.
Well, I say we.
Yeah.
You are. You've got the slippers. Right.
I'm closer. I ain't got the pipe yet, so I'm nearly there.
Oh, I know what to get you for Christmas now then, don't I? Right. That is it for this week's episode of the Talking Wednesday podcast. Be well, and we will see you in the next episode of Talking Wednesday.
See ya.